Have you ever heard your own voice get louder than you meant it to? And the second the words leave your mouth, guilt crashes in just as fast as the sound? You didn't want to yell. You love your child more than anything, but you're exhausted, overstimulated, and trying to keep everything together. And suddenly, you're left wondering, why do I keep doing this? If you've ever struggled with mom guilt, negative self-talk, or feeling like a failure as a mom because you yelled again, this episode is for you. Welcome to Conquer Mom Stress, the podcast that helps you stress less and enjoy motherhood more. If you've ever crawled into bed at night completely exhausted, but still feel like there's so much left to do, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Jill Gockel, and I believe that motherhood is meant to feel joyful, not exhausting. Together, we'll uncover what's really fueling your stress and give you the practical tools to conquer it, so you can finally feel like the confident mom you were made to be. Also, if you have a specific question or issue you're stressing about, head over to jillgockel.com/ask to submit your question, and who knows, you might just be featured in an upcoming episode so you can get practical real-world solutions to the exact challenges you're facing. I want to start by saying this out loud, clearly and without hesitation. Yelling does not make you a bad mom. It makes you a human mom, often an exhausted mom, trying to parent under pressure. I remember a season where my patience was razor thin. My brain felt foggy, my energy was gone, and my stress level was always high. One small act of disobedience from my kids could tip me over, and after I yelled, I'd replay it in my head all day. A good mom wouldn't lose it like that. Why can't I get this under control? That cycle of yelling, guilt, and shame was far more damaging to me than the actual moment itself. The problem isn't that moms want to yell. The problem is that yelling feels like the fastest way to regain control when everything feels out of control. But yelling actually does the opposite of what you want. It closes the child to correction, damages the relationship, and increases the very behaviors you're trying to stop. At the same time, it feeds mom burnout, mom stress, and that constant feeling of failing, even when you're doing so many things right. Scripture is very clear about how correction is meant to happen. In Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1, we're told, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." God doesn't say this to shame parents. He says it because he understands the human heart, especially a child's heart. Children are not corrected into growth through fear. They're guided through the love of parent, safety, and connection. Parenting with love is not permissive. It's powerful. This is the thing. When yelling happens, a child's brain shifts into survival mode. This is a part of the psychological effects of yelling at a child. Instead of learning, listening, or reflecting, the child's nervous system focuses on protection. This means correction doesn't land. The relationship feels unsafe in that moment, and behavior change becomes harder, not easier. For moms, yelling often comes from mommy brain overload, mental exhaustion, decision fatigue, and chronic stress. The body is already flooded with cortisol, and when something goes wrong, it spills over. Afterwards comes the guilt for yelling at my child, the negative self-talk, and a hit to self-esteem. Instead of feeling like a good mom, you feel like you're failing again. And the desired outcome, calm kids, cooperation, and respect, moves even farther away. But here's the hope. God never asks you to do something without also giving you a better way. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4 tells parents, "Do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up with the training and instruction of the Lord." God doesn't lead with volume. He leads with presence. He corrects through relationship. And when you mirror that, even imperfectly, you create an environment where children are open to guidance and moms are freed from constant guilt. Here's the hope I want you to hold on to as we move into the solution. Your child is not ignoring you because they're bad, stubborn, or disrespectful. And you are not yelling because you're a bad mom. What's happening is a brain-to-brain interaction, and once you understand it, everything starts to feel less personal and far more manageable. When you learn to separate your emotions from the situation and go to God for instruction, you are able to train your children up in love, just like God instructs us in Ephesians. The first shift to doing this is learning to regulate yourself before trying to correct your child. This is not about being calm all the time. It's about slowing the moment down just enough so your body can settle. When you pause, take a breath, and soften your voice, something powerful happens inside your child's brain. Their brain has a little alarm system, kind of like a smoke detector. When yelling happens, that alarm goes off and tells their body, this isn't safe. When that alarm is ringing, the thinking part of their brain literally goes offline. They can't hear logic. They can't learn. They can only shut down and protect themselves. But when your voice is calm, that alarm turns off. Blood flow returns to the thinking part of the brain, which is the part responsible for listening, understanding, and learning from mistakes. This is why calm correction works better than loud correction. Studies in child development consistently show that children are more receptive to guidance when the adult is regulated because their nervous system mirrors the calm they sense. One mom I worked with told me that simply lowering her voice, even when she felt frustrated, changed everything. Her son started responding faster, not because he was afraid, but because he felt safe enough to listen. And for her, the stress dropped almost immediately because she wasn't fighting against a panicked nervous system anymore. The second shift is connecting before correcting. This is the heart of parenting with love. When you make eye contact, use your child's name, or gently touch their shoulder before giving instruction, you're sending a message that says, I see you. I'm with you. That connection opens the door for communication. Think of it like this. Correction is a message, and connection is the envelope it comes in. Without the envelope, the message doesn't arrive properly. From a brain perspective, connection releases oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin helps both you and your child feel calm and connected. When oxytocin is present, stress hormones like cortisol go down. That means less yelling for you and less resistance from your child. A mom once shared with me that when she started kneeling down to her child's level before correcting behavior, the arguments almost disappeared. Her child felt respected instead of attacked, and she felt more like a good mom instead of someone constantly putting out fires. The third shift is addressing negative self-talk with self-compassion. This one is huge. It's often overlooked. When you yell and then tell yourself you're a terrible mom, your brain doesn't feel motivated to do better. It feels defeated. Self-criticism actually raises stress in the body, making it more likely that you'll yell again the next time you're overwhelmed. Your brain thinks it's being helpful by being harsh, but all it's doing is keeping you stuck. Self-compassion, on the other hand, lowers stress and increases problem solving. When you say, that wasn't my best moment, but I'm learning, your brain stays open instead of shutting down. Neuroscience shows that compassion activates areas of the brain linked to emotional regulation and resilience. One exhausted mom told me that when she stopped shaming herself after yelling and instead prayed, God, help me try again, her reaction softened over time. Not overnight, but steadily. And with that came confidence, peace, and so much quiet inner world. The fourth shift is choosing encouraging words, both for your child and for yourself. Words don't just communicate information. They shape reality. When a child hears constant yelling, their brain starts to believe they are bad, which often leads to more misbehavior. But when correction is wrapped in love and encouragement, the child begins to see themselves as capable of doing better. Encouraging words activate the brain's reward system. It's like giving the brain a little gold star that says, yes, this is the direction to go. Research in positive parenting shows that children who receive more encouragement than criticism are more likely to internalize values and self-regulate behavior over time. One mom shared that when she started saying, "I know you can make a better choice," instead of yelling, her child began correcting himself. And for her, the stress melted away because she wasn't constantly bracing for conflict. The fifth shift is honoring your limits and addressing exhaustion directly. An exhausted mom is not a failing mom. She's a depleted one. When your body is tired, your brain has less capacity for patience and emotional control. That's biology, not a moral issue. When you give yourself permission to rest, to simplify, to ask for help, you are actually investing in better parenting. Lower exhaustion means lower baseline stress, which means fewer moments where yelling feels like the only option. Studies on mom burnout show that when moms meet every small personal needs, like rest, quiet, or support, they respond more calmly to their children. One mom told me that simply going to bed earlier changed her parenting more than any discipline strategy ever had. She had more patience because her body wasn't constantly in survival mode. Here's the beautiful part. None of these shifts require perfection. They don't require total personality change or endless willpower. They're small, gentle adjustments that work with your brain instead of against it. Remember, God doesn't call you to be the perfect mom. He calls you to be perfected in love, His perfect love. These shifts we talked about today are grounded in God's love. And when you practice them consistently, they'll lead to something every mom wants: less stress, stronger connection, clearer communication, and long-term changes in your child's behavior rooted in love, not fear. You are not trying to control your child. You are teaching them. And teaching works best when the environment feels safe, loving, and calm for both of you. Bringing your child up with the training and instruction of the Lord means that you're modeling God through emotional control. As we've learned in past episodes, our brains have mirror neurons where we mirror the people around us, the things that we're looking at, what you're watching on TV or listening to on the radio or podcast. So when you train your eyes on God, constantly keeping Him before you, your mirror neurons go to work, helping you transform yourself into God. God who is love, who doesn't speak a harsh word to you. He's always there, patient, calm, and lovingly helping you to the next level. St. Francis de Sales once said, "Nothing is so strong as gentleness. Nothing so gentle as real strength." Gentleness doesn't mean weakness. It means choosing love when stress tempts you to react. Every time you pause instead of yell, you're building trust, strengthening the relationship, and teaching your child how to regulate emotions, something they'll carry for life. And the only way to do this is by looking to God, keeping your eyes trained on Him at all times. Listen, if you yelled today, tomorrow is not ruined. God's mercies are new every morning. You can repair. You can apologize. You can try again. Being a good mom isn't about never raising your voice. It's about choosing love again and again, even after the hard moments. Calm, loving correction opens hearts, and when hearts are open, real change begins. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 5 says, "Love is patient, love is kind, it is not quick-tempered." Mama, you're not failing. You're learning. You are not damaging your child. You're growing alongside them. Let go of the guilt. Choose compassion. And remember, parenting with love is not just better for your kids. It's healing for you too. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Conquer Mom Stress. If today's conversation encouraged you, hit follow and leave a review. That lets me know that these episodes are hitting the topics you need. And while you're there, share this podcast with another mom who might need to hear it. Your thoughtfulness might just be what she needs to get through the day. Also, if you want help with the exact challenges you're facing as a mom, head over to jillgockel.com/ask. The link will also be in the show notes, and share your biggest mom stressor. I'll be tackling these issues in future episodes. Remember, this is your place to pause, reset, and start conquering mom stress, one small step at a time. Motherhood isn't meant to drain the life out of you. It's meant to be lived with joy, even on the messy days. And together, we're going to find that joy again.